Hey there, educators. Welcome. In this explainer, we're going to build a toolkit packed with really practical strategies. They're all designed to do one thing: spark that real, vibrant engagement and just completely change the energy in your classroom.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You've just explained something, you ask what you think is a fantastic question, and crickets. A sea of blank stares. It is a challenge every single teacher faces. But hey, don't worry. That's exactly what we're going to tackle today. So let's dive right in. The goal here is to get away from that dreaded silence and move toward a classroom that's literally buzzing with ideas and participation. It's time to flip that switch and really spark some engagement. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what the engagement challenge even is. Then, we'll get into the surprising power of what's called mild pressure. After that, we'll load up our toolkit with some quick-fire tools and some deeper discussion techniques. And finally, we'll cover how you'll know if these new strategies are actually making a difference. Let's get to it. All right, let's kick things off with the engagement challenge. Because before we can get students engaged, we kind of have to agree on what we're aiming for. What does it really look like and feel like for a student to be truly engaged? And this is the key takeaway right here. Engagement is so much more than just compliance. I mean, it's not about students just being quiet and looking at you. True engagement is when they're actively paying attention, when they feel energized, when they're genuinely intrigued, and maybe even a little inspired by what they're learning. That is the bullseye we're aiming for. Okay, on to our second section, the power of mild pressure. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Pressure? That sounds like a bad word in a classroom. But hang with me here, because we're actually talking about a surprisingly positive tool for boosting student focus. Trust me. You know, the thinking behind this is pretty fascinating. Research shows that just a little bit of mild pressure actually nudges students to focus their attention. And let's be super clear, this is not about creating stress. It's about gently raising the expectation that everyone will participate, which keeps everyone tuned in and ready to go. All right, time to open up the toolkit. We're going to start with the quick fire tools. These are all about simple, fast techniques you can use to get your entire class participating in literally seconds. First up, hand signals. This is such a powerful, silent strategy. It lets your students answer you non-verbally, and it gives you this instant visual snapshot of the whole room's understanding, all without a single word being spoken. It's fantastic. And you can just see how powerful this is, right? You ask a quick question to check for understanding, and bam! Instant visual poll. Are you seeing a forest of thumbs up, a bunch of thumbs down, or a lot of in the middles? You know exactly where your class is in a split second. The key is just to set up a really clear, simple system. Like you see here. Thumbs up means I totally get it. Sideways is like, I'm a little shaky on this. And thumbs down is a really safe way for a student to say, I'm lost. You can even adapt it for multiple choice questions just by using fingers. Super easy. Okay, another amazing quick-fire tool is response cards. Just think of them as mini whiteboards. Your students can jot down a short answer, maybe a vocabulary word or a math problem, and then everyone holds up their board at the exact same time. It is an incredible way to get every single student answering at once. And hey, let's not forget the power of choral response. As the slide shows, it's a simple process, but the goal is really powerful. You want to create an imprint of critical information. You present it, you prompt them, they all say it together, and then you reinforce it. It's a classic for a reason. It just makes key information stick. Okay, so we've got our quick-fire tools. Now let's move into our next section, deeper discussion techniques. Here, we're kind of shifting gears from those rapid-fire checks to strategies that really encourage more thoughtful, collaborative, and in-depth thinking. First up for deeper discussion is random names. You know this one, popsicle sticks in a jar, right? After you ask a question, you pull a name. But, and this is the absolute key, you always put the name back in the jar. This creates that positive, mild pressure for everyone to stay focused. But for this to really work, you've got to create a safe environment. And this right here is exactly how you make it safe. When a student's name gets called, they have choices. Yeah, they can respond, but they can also ask for help or even choose to pass for now. Giving them these options takes away that put-on-the-spot anxiety and keeps the focus where it should be, on learning. Oh, I love this next one because it's all about active listening. It's called response chaining. So after one student answers, you immediately call on another to either paraphrase, explain, or build on that first answer.
You're literally creating a chain of thought that forces everyone to listen carefully to each other. Now, this next one might just be the simplest, but also the most powerful technique we'll talk about today. Wait time. After you ask a question, just pause for at least 3 seconds. I know, it can feel a little awkward, but that silence, that's where the real thinking happens. And to make it less awkward for you, you can silently count, make eye contact around the room, or even think of your next hint.
This is such a great way to think about how the type of question you ask can totally change the kind of thinking your students have to do. Are you only asking librarian questions where they just have to recall a fact? Try pushing them to be a detective and analyze something, or a fortune teller and make a prediction, or even a judge to evaluate an idea. Mixing up these roles engages their whole brain.
So you've filled up your toolkit with all these amazing strategies. Awesome. But how do you know if they're actually working? And that brings us to our final and really crucial section, moving from just having a toolkit to achieving true mastery.
So how do you measure success? Well, you start looking for these key signs. Are more students responding? Are they actually listening to each other's answers? And this one's huge. Can they explain how they got an answer, not just what the answer is? And has the classroom culture shifted so now everyone expects to participate? If you see these things happening, you are on the right track.
And finally, let's look at a path for your own professional growth. You know, a lot of us start out at level 1, just calling on volunteers. The real goal is to get to level 3. You're not just using the techniques, but you're actively monitoring how they're affecting engagement. And from there, you can become a level 4 innovator, adapting these tools to perfectly fit your students' needs. Wow, we have packed a lot into this toolkit today, haven't we? From simple hand signals to the incredible power of just a 3-second pause. So as you head back into your classroom, I'll just leave you with one final important question to think about. Which new strategy are you going to try first?